Well, welcome back.
Hello.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, there we go. Yeah, ah, yeah. I think your sensitivity is a little bit low. Seems to be
Maybe.
cut. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Say some more. Say some more.
Yeah. Now
Yep.
I'm talking. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes they don't do exactly what we want, but
No.
yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I love these.
Always tweaking.
Oh yeah.
Always.
Always trying to learn. Always trying to do better. Cause we suck. Well, yeah. So yeah, I'm Gard. Hello.
Hello.
And that is John. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes. And we're very cute today, and we love it. So this is the only
Yeah.
second time we've been able to use these avatars of ours, and yep, loving it so
Yep.
much.
Yep.
Unfortunately, our third member, the resident lore master, is not with us today. He's currently somewhere in the country holding a torch and protesting something, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
That's
believe that was it. I don't remember what.
yeah. Well, it was important enough to light something on fire, I suppose. But yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he won't be here to talk shit about this creature that we are currently doing, which is the Bytting, also known as Changeling to some people. John, you weren't here last time when we started this.
No.
No.
Wasn't.
So maybe you have some fresh takes on this creature.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Let's see. Maybe.
maybe not. Who knows? Either way, yeah.
I like what you're doing so far.
Yeah, Tor suggested something body horror-ish, so that's definitely what we're going for here.
Yeah.
Yeah, some live morphing.
Live morphing and he looks. It looks both
They.
male and female.
They, yeah.
They look.
Oh, thanks for noticing, dude. That actually makes me happy and
Female.
horrified at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But somehow it looks like someone is getting possessed.
It could also be that way. Yeah, we were talking a lot about what changeling or Bytting physiology would be like, and like whether or not it's a very painful procedure or process to do this.
I guess it depends on the Bytting.
It kind of looks like this guy's in agony, or maybe that's just how they are. I mean, he's both in agony, kind of neutral, and kind of enjoying it at the same time. It looks like so. Either way, we got this far last time.
Yeah.
So today we are going to continue the shading, try to give this thing some depth, and try to round it off nicely. I mean, what did I just do? Oh, that's what I just did. Yeah, idiot. I did nothing. That's what I did. Okay, here we go. Yeah, now we're getting some speed. Or as the French call it, speed. Let's see.
Oh, you're the resident French-speaking guy.
I'm the resident French geolinguist, I guess. I'm trying to learn how to speak French.
Yep.
My progress would not impress a lot of people. Let's just say it like that.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, you were trying to learn German, right?
Yeah. I'm trying, at least. And somewhat
but it's
proficient,
like,
at least. But Duolingo recently changed the way they organize the lessons.
yeah, they did.
I'm not really a fan of the new one.
It took me a while to come to terms with it for sure. Usually me and my brother we do the French course together, and we do it on our phones, of course, but like we have two different brands of phones. And then we learned that Duolingo is different on depending on what kind of phone you're on. So it's really difficult to know exactly where we are in comparison to each other.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, and I think that's a thing that goes over to the computer version as well. But yeah, this has been a big
Never
hobby.
taken a look at your computer version.
Nah, I just forget it even exists.
Okay.
But no, I forget that it even exists. But people do use it. Yeah, no.
So the track and XP and everything like that is different between the.
Well, actually,
brands of phones.
It's the same. It's the same amount of XP, it seems. But it's like the course and unit numbers. Which part you're currently learning from is different, and it used to be different as well.
Oh.
And then after they made the change, then suddenly everything was. Then it was the same between both Android and iPhone or iOS, but now it's changed again. So. Because I was like checking up on him, like as brothers do. I was like, oh, so how far along are you? And he was at a significantly lower number of courses than I knew that he was. I was like, what the shit? So it turns out that on his system, they had changed the classification of the courses. So now there's like a beginner course, and then there's like a, I don't know what you call it, intermediate maybe, or whatever.
Intermediate.
Yeah, so he was now on the 11th course of the intermediate unit or something like that. I was like, what the shit? While I'm just straight at 20 something,
I don't even know.
Because I don't count that way.
Yeah. Me, I'm just okay. I'm this far now, and this is what I'm learning. Where I'm at in the course or such doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I know. But it's like you did German before, right?
Sorry?
You did German before, like in school and stuff.
Yeah, I did, but that is.
Also, you've been vacationing in Germany
years ago, and I wasn't really serious when I was in school.
Oh God, I wish I was serious when I was in school.
Oh, I do too.
Oh God, it would have made everything in life so much easier.
Yeah. Well, we were teenagers.
Yeah. Oh God.
We always think we know best.
That
Hot tip, we don't.
Oh God. It took me this long to just admit that I don't know shit.
Yeah.
Well. I guess it's true what they say. Youth is wasted on the young. Oh man. Yeah. Well, welcome to the Grandpa Factory, kids.
Yeah. This is what happens when you go around too long.
Come on, we're not that old. We just feel that way.
Yeah. Yeah. But, well, if you take into account expected life expectancy, we're closing in, or beyond, in my case, half our lifespan.
Yeah, I've been wondering when you were gonna hit that infamous midlife crisis thing. I mean, I always thought, oh, that's gonna be fun to look at. Whenever I say these things and think these things, I of course just ignore the fact that I would eventually have one too.
Well,
but maybe I already had one,
You're what now? 1 or 2 years away from your halfway point, or maybe 3?
Oh, you're thinking about 40? Ah, Nah, like I count by relatives, you know, as like I compare myself to my relatives, and
Ah,
by that count, I am past the halfway point.
oh.
That's
Well,
a sobering thought, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah,
Not a
statistics.
good thing to be drinking then.
I am not drinking.
Don't say the same.
Nope. See, I'm not drinking because I'm responsible, knowing that I am past the halfway point. Of course, if we start talking about the point of no return, that is basically every second of our lives, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. That's
Never,
kind of depressing, though, isn't it?
never discuss philosophy with a nihilist, dude.
I thought Thor was a nihilist.
No, he just
No,
pretends
no,
to
no,
be.
no, no. That was, he was not. That's the fourth member.
Oh, he's kind of a nihilist. He's kind of a nihilist. I mean, a nihilist. I mean, that's more or less just a diagnosis at the end of the day. I was like, what's wrong with a nihilist? Ah, yeah. That explains it. Oh yeah. Let's see where.
I like the kind of trousers you gave them.
Oh, you know, Tor gave me the same compliment last time, and yeah. I'm glad we're feeling the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I figured. I mean, I haven't studied fashion to a great extent. I mean, I've studied fashion more than most people who are not, you know, avidly into it, because you know I draw and stuff. But this is more or less my impression of something that could have existed in the 1700s, more or less.
I actually think they did. It kind of reminds me of the kind of trousers they had in the army.
Yeah. Which is perfect. And I just felt it was like it's a nice. It was a nice way to just handle a pair of trousers in our little particular universe for that particular era.
Yeah.
Drawing in just a little bit of our national costumes and also just general thinking behind clothing.
Apart from the double flap, it looks very similar to the one I have.
Yeah. The double flap is not normal in our national costumes. At least not the ones I know.
Yeah, I think they have it on. Let's see.
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah, there's so many. Depending on not just on area, but on city as well, or town, or village, or part of village.
Then you surely have to be in some bigger place than this.
Yeah.
I think. I don't even know. I mean, I'm well aware of one type of national costume that comes from our region. Not very familiar with more specific types of national costumes.
I'm getting the feeling that I've seen this something similar on maybe one of those from the southeast or
yeah, I'm wondering.
Southwest.
Telemark?
Yeah, or Rogaland. I'm not entirely sure about that. Don't quote me on that.
Ah, no, well, you know how it is on these streams. We're not allowed to Google anything, so.
Yeah.
But you know, it could be, and if it's not, it should be. Yeah. These are some nice pants.
They are.
I would not mind having them. I mean, the double flap in front is kind of funny, but also it's high waist.
Most of them are.
Yeah, and it's just nice. I just like it.
Yeah, high waist is actually kind of very nice. Keeps you in the stomach, you know.
Yeah, totally. God, would I need that? That was not what I was intending to do. This is what I was intending to do. I'm more pleased now. Okay. Okay, so I think this is basically the first layer of shadow that I'm going to use today.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. Let's start doing some highlights. So yeah, this is our third consecutive weekly stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people do this every single day, but I'm still proud of us.
Yeah. Frankly, I can't really imagine how they manage to do it every single day. Especially if they're close to what we are with jobs.
Yeah, I mean that is the question, though, isn't it? I mean,
yeah,
because this is not our full-time job, obviously.
No.
But there are plenty of people who do actually live by doing this. This is their life.
Yeah. Some respect, quite a bit of respect for that.
Yeah, you kind of have to, because
I know how well tiring it can be.
Yeah, you can.
Prep work, the post processing, and everything.
Yeah, it's like I'm a graphic artist, which is fine. You know, I work in two-dimensional media for the most part. But you know, second, we're talking about putting things over to film. It's gonna be difficult. And there are people out there who do this every single day, and they just handle such amounts of data in ways that are practically alien to me. So yeah, no. Great respect, indeed. And sometimes I'm also thinking like, yeah, well, maybe these guys have, ADHD or something like that. But it's like, I mean, it's not a straight up superpower.
It's approaching to be.
Maybe, but I mean, it's something people have to deal with. And sometimes I kind of wish that I had it, but I don't, and so I wouldn't know anything about how what it is to actually have it.
Well, I've had students who've had it, and I have Asperger myself. It's
I just have chronic depression.
It depends, really.
No, I mean that's what I have.
Yeah, well, that is true.
So I was like, man, I don't even know what is this. What is this talk about having energy and focus? What? Like hyper focus? What? It's so alien to me. Attention to detail? What? It's like perfectionism? That's an option? What? That's
I feel called out in that.
Well, yeah, but you do have some perfectionistic tendencies.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you do. But like, that is just not something that's natural to me. See, that's the difference. That need for things to be perfect. And frankly, that sounds like a little bit of a nightmare scenario.
I don't even say you get used to it, because I don't
Probably
know how
do.
it is to not be in that way.
Yeah, I can see that. That's the same reasoning I have towards, you know, whether or not I'm fine with depressions. Now, see, we're not talking about perfectionism, but we're talking about doing shit right. That was wrong. This is right. Ah, there we go. Where was I? Yeah, no, it's the same reasoning that I have when it comes to you know, depression and stuff. It's like, you know, would you rather not be depressed? And it's like, yeah, well, I'm not really I'm not really pining for an opportunity not to be, because I don't have the frame of reference to know what it's like to be really happy. So, you know, in a way, it kind of evens out. Oh god, so many neck folds.
Difficult as well. And I have, like I said, I have Asperger, and I also have depressions.
Yeah.
So but I still don't know how it is to have chronic depression.
Oh well, it's.
I think I've had depressions for years, but it's not really a chronic depression.
Well, it's. The depressions are usually mild. You know, if you think of it like if there's a scale of 1 to 5, say, you know, if you can imagine that, and 5 is like you are completely destroyed, you do not function, and you're questioning your own worth as a human being, etc., etc., to such an extent that you are pretty much pacified. And 3, that's borderline actual depression. That's when you start feeling that you are slowing down. Things are not working as they should, that you start having difficulty, and if you crawl into that little safe space there, then it'll probably get worse. Then you have the levels above that, 1 to 3. That's just various degrees of being miffed, you know, just being sad, being hopeless, but you're still fully functioning, you're still going around, you're not depressed, you're just a bit sad. And at 0, that's normal, that's meh. That's you feeling like, yeah, well, you know, everything's okay, I guess, you know. It's like your things are not great, things are not terrible, it's just okay. And then you have a reverse scale of that going on top of that, and that reaches into hypermania, which is an entirely different thing altogether. Now, my general mood is below 0. I'm usually living in the -1 to -3 space, and sometimes I dip below into depression. And that's what you call dysthymia. The problem with this is there's a lot of people who do suffer from it, but it's hard to diagnose, because it takes a lot of time to be able to properly diagnose it, because you need to pretty much chart the progression over several years, which is something that I've done. I was told to do that, and I ended up charting 21 years of my own emotional spectrum in a graph.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, you know, they didn't know who they were talking to at the point, but you know, I am a graphic designer, so it's like, oh, you want me to graphically design my emotional spectrum? Well, fine. Challenge accepted. That was a fun weekend. Literally, it was hilarious. And very insightful. I would almost recommend it to everyone who can deal with facing some mad truths. Of course, being able to account for roughly 21 years of emotions and life events, well, that's probably not something everyone can do.
I think most would draw a blank on that.
Yeah, I mean, there's everyone will experience that there are some things, but you know. Now, the worst thing about having this chronic depression is basically things that you love doing loses all meaning.
Oh. Yeah, that's.
So you
I have had a few moments like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could be totally into something, right? There's like a hobby that you just yearn to do. It's like you're sat at work, and at every free time you have, you're thinking about this thing you're gonna do after work. You know, this thing that you like this that you're super enthusiastic about, and then suddenly there's no joy in it anymore. And then you have no other choice but to put it away, because if you keep doing it after you reach that point, you will start resenting it. That is difficult.
Yeah. I can imagine.
So, in a way, it's a goddamn miracle I've been able to keep doing this for 6 years.
Is that tenacity or habit?
Voluntarily self-harm, I think. No, it's tenacity. I mean, because you don't want to quit doing something that you actually know is fun, and it also helps that I am not in this alone, because all of us were pulling in the same direction.
Yeah.
And that again is like, you know, as a little bit of expectations involved. So it's like, you know, I usually feel that if I completely just ignore what I'm supposed to be doing now, then everything is going to fall apart. Because we are very much dependent on each other to be able to, you know, get ahead and get things done, right? So it's like it's always that. It's like a little bit of duty, and trying to have a good focus. And doing these illustration jobs as an open thing, just doing it on stream, and or just for like the local people in our Discord. Links down below. I mean that's a huge pick me up, because it kind of brings me out of my headspace when I'm doing this, and kind of get to share some of this massive piece of work that we've been doing on the down low for so many years.
Yes.
Because God, we have put down so many hours into this, and
so many hours.
So many hours. I mean, I stopped counting years ago, but it's gargantuan, the amount of work that we put into this project. And I feel in a way I've been sitting for years just waiting for the opportunity to start actually doing the art for it, like properly, because we've always been in a sense of like we're in development. We're not dealing with finalized pieces, so we're making prototypes and stuff. It's like everything is placeholder, And every once in a while, me and John, we sneak in something that we're doing properly, and then we, because we know to ourselves, like, yeah, well, this thing is not going to go anywhere. This thing is going to be in the finished game, so we're going to put just a little bit extra effort into it.
Yeah.
like many of the tiles that you were working on for the actual board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling that many of those are final pieces.
More or less, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some.
I can't see that we are actually going to redo them at this point.
I generally don't see a need. I think they are wonderful.
They are. Yeah, I'm very happy with how they turned out.
Yeah, I mean, they tell the stories they're supposed to. For our, we currently have like a lab. We call it a lab over in Tabletopia, where we playtest the game, and we had 1 or 2 playtests on stream from that lab, where we're playing Heroes of Sealening. And that one is simplified in the sense that we we only picked one design for each of the tiles, but in reality, every single tile is unique.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Actually, I don't remember. Fuck. Were every single tile unique?
Not in the last iteration that the two of us made. Then we just took categories. Originally, the iteration that we had before we started merging in 3D elements.
Yeah, that's the version I was talking about. Yeah, the one.
Yeah, that one was unique. Every single tile was unique.
Which was such amount of work, but
hell of a lot of work. But
it was worth it.
I mean, well, it wasn't really that difficult to make either, because you took a big canvas and then you just drew, and then cookie cutter made each tile.
Yeah, basically. It just took a little bit of time and effort to just get everything done, and now of course there was like a huge amount of computer power that went into just.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some big files there.
Yeah.
But that was nothing in comparison to the very first one we did. The digital one.
Let's see. Is the music playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, the music is playing.
But we can't turn it up.
Tour paid a visitor said the music is off.
No, the music is on, man. I don't know what you're talking about. We could crank it up a little bit.
It's actually pretty good already.
Are you sure?
It's off now. That's weird.
No, I was just changing songs, I think. Now it's supposed to be playing, but it is kind of low.
Yeah, it is playing. Can hear it. It's difficult to hear because it's the most sinister music that you chose this time, and so
yeah, of course it did. I mean, look at this thing, Jesus.
Yeah, it has a lot of silent parts.
Yeah. Also, there's a lot of ambience in here.
Yeah, and yes, Tor, it is your old man ears. But
old man ears?
I'm older than you, and I have a hearing disability, and I still can hear it. So I just get a new headset, man.
Well, you probably can. He's too busy, like, holding burning things.
Yeah. Too much ambient noise around.
People chanting things.
Crackling.
No, yeah. He's trying to do a good thing for society.
He is. He is. So, cheers to him.
Yeah. Working hard. Every day.
I'm. While you're working, I'm actually working as well. Still trying to learn Blender.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I used Blender on the tiles that we have now. For those of you who haven't seen it or realized it yet, when we've played Here's a Sealening on stream, the tiles, not all of them, but at least but some of them, the city tiles and the
forest tiles, dude.
The site tiles actually have 3D elements in them.
Yeah, no, it's not even that, man. The majority of the tiles have 3D elements because you are kind of forgetting the forests. You made every single forest tile.
Oh yeah, I made every single tree on those.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you were having a lot of fun.
They're actually rendering.
They're actually renders, yeah.
The renderings. Ah.
Yeah. And
words.
Oh yeah, no. Tell me about it. Oh, but the best part was probably when you were doing the little villages.
Yeah.
And you were really unhappy with the side of one of the buildings.
Yeah.
Because
so
the chimney was too small. I mean, the texture on the chimney was wrong.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh god damn, I'm gonna have to redo all of this. It's like
you didn't get. There wasn't a. You didn't see the shadow just right on the image.
Yeah.
It's maybe 1.5 pixels wide.
I mean, at most. I was like, yeah, you need to zoom out and just try to orientate yourself. Like, how big is this thing gonna be in real life?
Yeah.
I was like, it is so easy to just drop into that mindset where you just get totally focused on the details.
I made an entire city. I laid out the streets. I laid out the quarters and every single house. And I got so caught up in actually designing a city that I forgot that this is so tiny on the real thing that you need a magnifying glass and the printer may not be able
exactly.
to actually show this off.
Yeah, the tiny little micro dots of the printer would probably not be fine enough to show the mistake that you were currently looking at. And I was like, oh wow. But it's
I am happy that I added a few smokestacks because.
Oh, you did? No, and they worked really fine.
Yeah, because even though they are maybe a pixel, your eyes is fine enough that you actually can see it. You will notice when they are not there, if the resolution is fine enough for the printer.
Breaking up the monotony.
Yeah. So it doesn't have to be much. I don't have to really be perfect, but I made it. I may have gone a bit overboard with some of them.
That's just innocent excitement, really, and
and also I made them so that if we want to, we can actually zoom in on them and create pictures, create renders from different angles in promotion material and such.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to, I mean, you could basically start rendering entire scenes from some of the things. I mean, there are some tiles that basically show what looks like cooling towers from old reactors and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you just see them like straight up above, but the actual model is an actual cooling tower.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an actual architecture with things that have fallen down, and there's stuff there. I mean, you could technically just take that tiny little tile and import it into CS:GO and have like have around playing playing around in there. Because there's actually some detail. I mean, not like insane amounts of detail.
Oh,
but
I'd simplified a lot.
A lot, yes.
But it's still workable. If you compare it to the early like Doom or such things, just a bit of texture is enough, and just slap up a few textures on there, and those things are actually really good.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, low poly modeling. Yeah. That's really a thing. I mean, remember back in the late '90s and stuff. Quake had
I remember that.
Yeah,
I played it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Quake took the basically like took that seat that Doom used to have, and I remember just sitting on various websites like Polygon and stuff like that, and I was looking up player models that you could just upload and whatever.
Yeah.
And play as, and how they would every one of them would have like poly counts and everything, and it was because you had to just keep everything small.
Yeah, there was a limit in the game itself.
Yeah.
If it was too high poly count, it wouldn't load the model.
Yeah. I remember I saw a I think it was Blade the Daywalker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a model of that guy. He had exactly 666 polygons, and they had they made that into a thing. It's like, yeah, he's got exactly this. Ho 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 ho! We're so edgy, which I was all about, of course. I mean, I was like, oh.
Oh yeah, you were a goof, wasn't you?
Oh yeah, I was goth, kind of. I was goth without knowing what goth was.
Well, isn't that usually what a teenager are? Teenagers do.
Yeah, no, I was into all that really dark shit, and my mom was concerned and all those things. I mean,
they usually are.
Yeah, I mean, for good reason. I was questioning everything, and life kind of sucks and whatever. Already dealing with depressions and stuff like that, and not really knowing what the hell was going on. Dealing with that plus being a teenager at the same time was like that's just a definition of hell. Yeah. Wow. Well done, Mom. Yeah, you somehow got me through it. No, seriously, it was it was very gothy, and it was like I never went and got all the accoutrement, you might call it, little extra things. Never had any piercings or tattoos or fancy metal clothing and stuff like that. I didn't even listen much to metal. It was just sort of gothy, sort of weird, I guess.
Yeah, which is where you got the name for your webcomic, I guess.
Yeah. in a sense. The reason why my webcomic got the name it did was that I couldn't translate the original Norwegian word, and I was sat like for 2 hours trying to think up a name, and at that point in time, whenever I was in a chat room or whatever, and I was gonna say weird, I would spell it like that because that was weird, and I was like, well, and I thought, fuck it. That's the genuine reason why it's called weird. Not the best thought out plan in the world, I'll admit, but I'm here 20 years later still sticking by it, so whatever. So yeah, that just goes to show people, don't name your kids while drunk. Oh god.
Yeah. I It's good advice.
I hope so.
In every sense of the word. I've heard a few. My sister is... Well, I won't go into that.
Oh man, yeah, you know.
That wasn't drunkenness, that was just being high on various hormones being pregnant.
Oh, well, that's an entirely different thing. Oh, that's some surefire way to get some fun stuff out of it. Oh, Jesus. Let's see. I did. Yes. Cool. Okay. Cool. This is gonna get some light up here. Yeah. Gonna show off your mane there, buddy. Or lass, or whatever you are. You guys who share a body, potentially. Who even knows? I'm kind of tempted.
It's a kind of interesting new take, though, seeing as the story behind Bytting was that Bytting was a child of the Fae. It's just they changed your child in the crib with one of their own.
Yeah, it is a new take to it in one way. Then again, it's a really old take to have that skinwalker.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, and I mean, there are some things among skinwalkers that are kind of interesting to me from a lore perspective, and I'm not even talking about the lore of our game. Like, probably one of my favorite little factoids, if you can even call it a factoid, since we're basically talking about imaginary creatures here, but that the origin of a nightmare, like the mare that rides you while you're having a nightmare, you know, that creature.
Yeah.
That creature and the origin of werewolf is exactly the same.
Oh, really?
Yes. A mare is a female werewolf. Men turn into werewolves. Women with the same curse turn into mares. Which is probably why we don't see a lot of boob wolves. We shouldn't.
4chan.
Yeah, but 4chan is an entirely different thing altogether. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's I did read up on a whole bunch of different lores and mythologies and folk stories and whatever, and then that thing just kind of crept up on me. I was like, oh, that is kind of interesting. I kind of like the fact that it's that there was such a distinction. I was like, which also makes me think that, you know, okay, maybe a mare would look kind of wolfish. Like there would be a similarity, like a kinship to a werewolf, maybe.
Oh, but I was wondering, when we talk about mare in this context, we're not talking about the female horse, right?
We're not? No, we're not.
Right.
No, we're not.
No.
No, we're not.
Right. The some depictions of the nightmare, it has her as an older woman.
Yeah, like a hag. Like a hag.
Yeah, like a hag.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's not a horse in the picture at all.
No. I mean, even in our language, we call it mare, mara.
Yeah.
We don't have that word for a horse. Female horse would be mar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different.
There is a difference. Whether or not our language is the absolute proof of this is, I'll never say that, because that sounds just preposterous. But no, there is a difference. there. And yeah, the hag imagery is often used for the mare, or let's just call it nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, the nightmare to to separate the entities entirely. There are often viewed as this hag thing, but then again, I do kind of like myself a little wolf every once in a while, so I'm willing to concede and say that maybe it's slightly more wolfish than just a hag.
Oh, I can see that.
Or a haggish wolf, maybe. I don't know. It could be many things. To each his own. I don't know what your nightmare looks like. Or do I? It could be so many things. But yeah, those are basically skinwalkers, though. I mean, werewolves being famously so, since they change. And they can arguably either be from a curse, or it could be a fey thing, it could be a fey curse. It's really hard to say. Like, there's no actual evidence for these things. They're entirely mythological, which gives us a lot of room to play. What I can say for sure is that, something like this that changes shape in front of your face and potentially could do it anyways.
It takes your place.
Yeah, I mean, if it's fey.
That is more or less what a Bytting is. It takes your face and takes your place.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stories about Byttings and changelings and all sorts of stuff is like that. Usually they're noticeably different or something like that.
Yeah.
But sometimes people are being referred to as being Bytting because they don't act like a civilized human being, for instance. It's just a behavior. So that could also signify that that means that potentially a Bytting could be a creature that could literally look exactly like a human being. Potentially look like any human being.
Yeah, but it's not quite up to stuff with how human society works, so
no, not at all.
It's mistakes that
it's a chaotic
people
being.
Can catch on to. Yeah.
Yeah, very chaotic being. And whether or not it's there for nefarious purposes, maybe so the Fae brings in a Bytting or changeling, and they switch out the child.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just a part of like a cuckoo thing, They're like the humans are being cuckolded so that they'll raise a child, and then once it's mature enough.
It's also that they might be they're interested in humans and their lives and want to have a human child for their own. But they don't want to leave the parents without a child, and so they give them one of their own in return.
That's a very nice interpretation.
That's a very nice interpretation.
Yeah. Like how they would actually they did this because of some sort of sense of innocence. It's like, yeah, no, we do love human beings, but we don't want you to be without one, but we're gonna switch out your kid from with ours, so it's an even trade.
Considering some of the old fairy tales, I don't think my version is viable, really, except in special cases. Usually it's malice.
Yeah, it's usually malicious. Definitely. Yeah. But it's like the act. I mean, whether it's for eating or whatever, they did leave something behind.
They did.
Sometimes it got found out by some clever humans. Others apparently did not. I mean, this was an actual thing back in the day. People were scared of this happening.
Yeah.
Like enough that they had like priests come to visit and stuff, and just make sure that this is indeed our real boy,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy. World used to be a lot more magical back in the day, mostly due to ignorance, but whatever.
If you go to Iceland, it's actually pretty magical still.
This is true. Yeah, they still have very Fey culture.
Yeah. They reroute roads and houses, move houses because the Fae has lives in a certain.
I mean, that is just amazing in itself.
It is, and
Um,
I think it's kind of is a loss that a lot of that is gone from our country.
I mean, it is a loss. Um, it's a huge loss. We lost most of this stuff uh, during the time when we were basically under
Supposed to become
control of.
Christian.
Yeah, well, that was one thing, but you have to remember that Iceland was traditionally Christian before Norway was.
It was, but they were also isolated for a long time.
They were isolated, yes, and isolated. Anyway, but for us, we also had. I mean, we had the period of time after the Black Plague where we were under control of first Denmark, then Sweden.
Yeah.
And it wasn't exactly a culturally progressive time for Norwegians. We lost a lot of our culture and language and traditions in those days.
It started before that, even before the Black Plague, with the civil wars and such we had.
Yeah, so I mean, we have lost a lot of stuff. I mean, there's some people. I mean, some people. I mean, it's basically like even Norwegians have experienced a sense of colonialism. In a sense. I mean,
it more or less started with the Norwegian royal family merging with the Danish one and moving to Denmark and then staying there for 500 years. And we are not Danish, we are just a vassal state.
Yeah. And the original Norwegian languages have changed. Official Norwegian language today is based on Danish for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, originally we sounded a lot more like the Icelandic did.
Originally, but then we had a lot of people come in from
oh yeah, no, we are
other countries, especially Germany.
Yeah, we've always been like a mercantile nation, so
yeah, especially along the coast.
Yes, so we've had a lot of different cultures coming in here through like 1,000 years and more.
Yeah. Germans during the south part of the coast, and some wayward Spaniards and such that crashed the ships on the rocks of the northwestern part.
Yeah, and it seems like everyone's related to those few Spanish sailors who survived.
It's not really that hard to imagine. Our part of the country was pretty isolated from the rest of the world.
I mean, I don't have an actual number for how many Spanish galleons could have gone down, leaving rich people on shores here. I mean, there's probably a good few, but it's like, it's almost wherever you go in a coastal town in this country. If it's just, I don't know, remote enough, you can bet they had a Spanish galleon. And that everyone on that island is related to the Spanish sailors who came ashore. I I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying it's suspicious. But, I can also see it. I mean, have a whole bunch of swarthy Latino people coming in here into this gray and dreary world called Norway, and I was like, yeah, of course the women would go for that. I can't blame them.
Very exotic.
Oh, it was super exotic. I mean, and some of them had silk and gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except most of that disappeared in the wreck.
Yeah. Or so they said, anyways.
Oh, so they said.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's, who knows if it's actually true?
It doesn't really take much more than one, considering how inbred most of us are. When I grew up, I more or less figured that I was to the 5th degree related to half our city. And
yeah.
I wouldn't be far off in reality.
Well, considering your last name and me knowing that your last name is pretty much one of the oldest names in this area.
Well, my last name actually isn't that old in our home city. My great grandfather came from a different one, a different town.
Which one of them?
Sykkylven.
Oh no, your paternal or maternal grandfather?
Paternal.
Yeah, I was thinking about your maternal.
Yeah, maternal. No, those names are old.
Yeah,
those names are very old.
That's some old school shit right there. No, but it's the same. It's the same for me in a way. I mean, my family doesn't actually come from this place in the same way. We actually managed to get some fresh genes into our family. Maybe a bit late, but we got it. But my mom, she had a tendency of just digging into every friend I had, like familial backstory, just to see if we were related somehow. That was a trait of hers. Of course.
Cautionary?
Oh, it was pretty precautionary for me, at least. I mean, if she intended it to be that way, I don't know. But it's just the concept of even trying to find a mate in this area is just no.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to risk it. I mean, I don't want to bump into my half brother or something for some unknown means. This is just no. I was like, oh yeah. Just imagine me finding some woman around here, and then it's like, oh yeah. Turns out you're like my cousin. What?
Yeah.
It's hell.
There have been a few instances of that.
I bet there has. I mean, that happens in larger communities.
It does.
Around here, that would definitely fucking happen.
Well, for me, most of my family on my father's side originate from the area. On my mother's side, my grandmother on my mother's side, she was not from here, from our area at all. So I do have some fresh genes pretty recently.
Yeah, I got a good bunch that's Northern Norwegian, which is good.
Yeah, it's good to get a bit of dash of something new.
Yeah, and even though my family name comes from one of the valleys just outside of here, my great-great-grandfather from that area, he came a long way away. He just took the name.
Yeah. That's the same thing as one of my ancestors on my father's side did as well. It was normal. You moved to a place, you married the girl on the farm, and you took the farm's name.
Yeah, because there wasn't any elder sons to take over or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, and that's of course kind of funny because it means that I am just remotely related to anyone else with my last name.
Kind of daunting in a way. With me, I have the last name of. There's not that many in Norway actually that have my last name, but I'm not related to a majority of them at all.
Yeah, same here.
Because there are 2 places in Norway that has the same name.
Oh yeah, same here. For my name, it's here, and then there's another place close to where you live right now.
Yeah.
There's no connection. And there's about, I don't know, just about 400 people with my name in the world.
But well, I'm actually not sure. There are a few in the US, actually, with my name. A few years ago, I got in contact with one. He was actually from the town where my family comes from, but it turned out his family probably came from a neighboring farm that has the same name.
Ah! Yeah, I guess that's a thing too.
Yeah. They might be related further back in history, but it's very hard to know. Some places actually have the same name and they're not related at all, even though they're right next to each other. But given a few hundred years back, it wasn't unusual. You needed a wife? Okay, you went to the farm next door and you got a wife there.
Yeah, that was the Tinder of the old days.
Yep. Just see if someone is of the same age in a neighboring farm.
Oh, same
yeah,
age?
Sure.
Same age? Jesus, no, then you're being prissy.
Well, plus minus a few decades, maybe.
I mean, so that woman can have children, eh? Oh, well, that's good enough for me, I suppose. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Someone in my family. I actually think my father remembers her. She had 17 children, I think.
How? How? Ah.
Basically, each time she visited, he remembers, each time they visited, she had a new child on her weaning, and the one she weaned the year before running around in diapers.
What the heck? Ah. Well, okay. I mean, it was a different time.
That was 50 years ago.
It was still a different time.
Oh, yeah.
Because the unfortunate question in all of this is how many of them survived.
I don't actually know, but I think most of them.
That is just unfortunate.
Well, it also explains how I can be related to half this town.
Yes.
It doesn't really help as well that I have great-great-grandfathers and mothers that usually lived until they were 90. And that was before getting 90 was really a thing.
Yeah, you have some Numenorian shit going on there, man. I don't know what to tell you. Nah, it was a bit different back in the day.
It was.
To say the least. I mean, child mortality was absolutely a thing, but then things changed.
Yeah, we found oil.
Yeah, living standards shot through the roof, but people still kept having kids in the same goddamn way because society hadn't caught up. That's why I had 6 elder siblings.
You had to think about that?
Every single time, man. Every single time. And, you know, I have to actually, like, you know, subtract as well now. So
Yeah.
So it's like, is it the past tense or the current one? So
That's one of the things of having a lot of children. The oldest ones get so old that they more or less could be your parents.
oh yeah, definitely. That is true for, well, depending again on what kind of era we're talking about. That's true for a lot of my siblings. Because the eldest was 20 years older than me. And it went all the way down to 9.
I don't.
That's a huge spread.
My mother, they were 6. And I think from the youngest to the oldest was almost about the same.
Yeah.
20 years. I don't remember.
Well, it's quite common as far as a spread like that would go.
No, it wasn't 20 years. It was less.
Yeah.
Less than that.
I mean, 40 is a nice cutoff for that generation. You know. Once you reach 40, it's like, yeah, no, now we're playing with fire here.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
It was a different time, like you said.
Yeah, way different. See here, now we're getting
close to taking a break as well.
That's what we are, getting close to taking a break. And also the progression so far has been going pretty well. I was a bit concerned if this was gonna fill our time slot today, but I think it will. So in a few minutes we'll take a short break, and then we'll just continue until this thing is finished.
Then we'll see what we do.
Oh, I think we're gonna get some good few hours out of this. It's still got some blending to do.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. But we're mostly getting there, so. I guess it's always a question. It's like, okay, well, if I finish this one, should I start a new one? Yeah. I kind of want us to have like a random number generator or something like that. I could just randomly pick the next thing that I was going to do. Because I think that would kind of be hilarious. Just start this. Challenge accepted. Like, not even give me a choice in the matter. It's like, yeah, okay, number generator says it's this one. Okay, well, shit. I was like, oh, but I don't want to do that. It's too boring. Whatever. Well, this is one nasty bugger, that's for sure. Might play around with some skin color and stuff. I mean, it would be interesting if it had more than one skin color.
Could be interesting, yeah.
So we'll have to see about that. But either way, right now we're just gonna go and pop off for a short break, and we'll be back at 19:30.
Or around that.
Yeah, does that about
Or a 15-minute break?
15-minute
Or should
break?
we take a 10-minute break?
Yeah, you know what?
As we usually do.
Let's just do 10 minutes. It's fine.
10 minutes. So 1925 then. 5 minutes to half past.
Yes. Fantastic. Now off
Yeah.
to Google and to fact check everything that we just said. Oh my god. Now, that's fine. Okay. See you in 10.
See you in 10.
Wow. Well, okay, the break's over. And John has not returned. Oh, that's interesting. Now I'm having all sorts of vivid imaginings of what he might be doing and how much he is stressing to actually get back here on time. Ah, well, never mind. So, let's see here. Did say something about trying to get this. Oh my, that's interesting. Sort of feeling that I need a little bit more light. Yeah. I am feeling that. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, that's not too bad. See, now that I'm here all alone, maybe I can do everything I want. Ah. Oh man, that would be a dream. Ah, probably not. Let's see here. Okay, I'm just messing up now.
There we go. Now we actually have sound as well.
Oh, you were there the entire time! Spying.
Almost the entire time.
Almost the entire time, yeah, sure.
You don't know how much.
No, I don't care, because whatever I've said is available on instant replay. Yeah.
Preserved on YouTube for all time.
Yes, it will.
At least as long as YouTube exists and they don't delete our content.
That is true. Or until, you know, you get hold of the footage and edit away whatever I said that was not in your favor.
Yep.
Whichever comes first. Now, okay, let's see here. Yep, added some extra light on one of the legs. Thought it was a little bit lacking before, but no, yeah, no. This is looking more or less as shapely as I'd like it. More or less. Let's see.
Have you hidden the line art?
I have not hidden the line art. Now I have hidden the line art. I kind of like the line art.
Kinda.
I am.
Gives an extra dark feel.
Yeah, it does, but I don't like removing the line art completely when I'm making a picture, because I mean I used to do that a lot, like, you know, just purist. Yeah, I just want the pure colors and whatever. But I was like, no, these days I'm more like, yeah, but lines are nice. they give
You define.
they give, yeah, I mean they define everything. They give it a nice outline, and it's like most pictures that I look at and like paintings, and if I really start looking closer, then it's like there is like a slight trace of what you could call line art in there, and so I'm just gonna go for it. But what I'm gonna do anyways, I'm gonna do the thing that I always do. First of all, I am going to basically copy everything that I just did. And put the original into its own little folder that's no longer visible. Because what I'm going to do now is a bit risky. Now, this is one solid figure.
Oh, you can't go back now.
I cannot go back now. I can go back now because all I have to do is like do stuff like this. but that's on a different layer. Now I just made a copy of it. That's all in one layer. So I'm gonna just see what happens when I start messing around with. Well, let's start with the boob. Yep. Mess around with the boobage. Do some blending. Well, yeah, this could work. It could. It could also potentially fail dramatically, spectacularly. I could go down burning with the ship. Who knows? Ah, well, we'll see how this goes. Yeah. Man, it just amazes me. It's like I've been using Photoshop for absolute ages. And then on a whim I decided, oh no, I'm gonna get some other software to try to draw with, and tried a couple. But this thing right here, I mean, it just feels like it does everything that I used to do in Photoshop, just easier. I don't know what they did, but it just feels better to do it.
Good studio?
Yeah. I was like, I just feel like I have a better intuitive grasp of what I'm doing at any old time.
Well, they made a program. They made software specifically for artists like you.
Yeah, they did.
Photoshop has leaned much heavier towards the photo part.
I mean, maybe maybe it's in the name, and then there should be a huge hint there. Maybe, I'm not saying definitely, but I am inclined to admit that you might be completely correct in this assumption. But it really is amazing. I mean, I'm talking about like basically resource management, like from a software perspective. What I'm doing right now, the blending. If I was going to use Photoshop to do the same thing, in my experience, it would be a much heavier job. It would take a lot more out of my computer to do what I'm doing right now. And I wouldn't get as nice results.
Yeah. Well.
And I just love the fact that I can do this with such seeming ease.
Yeah. Well, it's been a while since Adobe actually... people have been complaining about their software for a long time. They just don't have any competition. That's the thing.
Yeah, they're just so far ahead in terms of competition as well. It's really hard to catch up.
Yeah, it is.
They have had so
decades.
many. Yeah. God. They've been working on these types of software for as long as I've been alive.
Yeah.
And
some of the errors and coding faults are still there.
Yeah. Ain't that funny? Yeah. Oh, God. I remember, like, I don't know, was it CS4 or something like that? I was straight out of college at that point, and there was some talk about how they'd rebuilt shit from the ground up.
Did they, though?
I really have never been able to tell the difference.
Yeah.
But they had the same claim for Windows Vista, didn't they? I mean,
more or less, yes.
Yeah. I mean, yes, we have rebuilt everything. Everything we've done before has just been a process of us towering bricks of shit on top of each other and giving it a new coat to paint on top. But I mean, Windows Vista was shit.
Was.
I mean, first they gave us Windows XP, and then they gave us Vista, and it's like, what the shit?
Well, in those days, Microsoft usually made a good operating system every second time they tried.
Yeah, I've yet to make the conversion into Windows 11.
I'd say wait.
You have been saying that since way before they released it, and I am inclined to listen.
I did the mistake of upgrading the computer I'm working on right now.
Is it so much as a mistake as you kind of have to in a way? I mean,
not quite. I don't really have to. It's just that I did it, and you actually have a few days, like I think it's 30 days or so, and you can revert to change. But I went way over that, and now I'm stuck, and I don't like it.
Right.
Because they are a lot of things. I need to more or less change half of my habits.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that is hell. That is hell. That is hell. But you're a systems administrator, like in your day job.
Yes.
Yeah, so I would just imagine that it would be more beneficial for you to actually to familiarize yourself intimately with the software. But I guess even
I did so. That's why I upgraded.
Yeah, but even that has limits. So yeah.
Yeah, it has, because this Windows 11 is kind of like Windows 8 in that they have they have heavily emphasized use on a tablet.
Oh no.
And not a desktop computer.
No.
And I think they realized that when I said that Windows 10 would live beside Windows 11 for quite a long time.
Oh no.
Yeah. There are a lot of things here that are very easy and quick to find. Just a click or two in Windows 10, and it's almost hidden deep within some menu somewhere in 11.
I thought that was already a problem in 10, to be honest.
Well, something simple then, like changing the default sound card that you get your sounds on, right?
Yeah.
You go down to beside the clock to the system menu, and you right click on the speaker icon, right?
Uh-huh.
Then you click on it actually. But then you get if you click on it, you get the slider to adjust the volume. If you have more than one sound card on your computer, you also get a drop down where you can choose which sound card is your default.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That is gone from Windows 11. You don't have that. You have a slider for volume, but you have to go into settings and poke around everywhere in order to find where to change the default sound card.
Okay, that... Why?
Yeah, that's the same thing I said. And also, I use Task Manager a lot.
Yeah.
In Windows 10, you right-click on the taskbar, and you get a lot of options. In Windows 11, you get one thing, and that is taskbar settings.
What?
Everything else is gone.
So how'd you get to Task Manager?
Right-click on the Start menu.
Okay.
So that's entirely... All the time, previously, I can click anywhere on the taskbar, and I can find the Task Manager. Now I can't anymore. Now I need to always go to the Start menu, right-click, and then I have it. And breaking the habit of just going to the taskbar and always have to go to the Start menu, that's hard.
Yeah, because that's what I do.
Even if they have, for some reason, made it center screen. The Start menu is almost center screen.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm familiar with when it comes to Windows 11, like
Yeah,
at all, because I haven't looked into it
I
at
used that
all.
for I used that for a while and figured that no, this doesn't hold water with me because I'm very much a muscle memory guy.
Yeah.
And every time you open a new program with the center, when they place it in the center, every time you open a new program, it gets moved slightly to the left because all the icons will be centered, not just the start menu icon. So every time you open a new program and then you get a new icon on the taskbar, the start menu will be moved slightly to the left. So the muscle memory always can't hit the start menu. So I turn that off, put the start menu on the far right, far left, like it used to be in 10, and all the way back to, I don't know, Windows 2000. That's much more
Windows 95,
writable.
man. Windows 95.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the first Windows. That's true. You're correct. Windows 95, all the way back to Windows 95. The start button was on the left side of the taskbar.
Yeah. Everyone listening right now, which is probably no one, this was historical.
25 years.
This is a historical moment where I actually told him something. I corrected him on something cool to do with Microsoft shit. That's never gonna happen again. This is a once in a lifetime thing. God damn. And I have it on video. Yes. Jesus. But yeah, no.
Maybe it was just that I started living when, or I started remembering when Windows, when they started using the NT core.
Oh yeah. That was later. That was way later.
Yeah, that was way later.
But
anyways,
was that?
They were suddenly changed 25 years of muscle memory.
Yeah,
you don't do that.
This is the exact same thing they did when they made Windows 8. This is the exact same fucking thing. They tried to change the entire setup, and it was a complete flop. And they just had to very quickly turn on Windows 10.
Yeah, or rather 8.1 actually.
Yeah, that's right, 8.1, which had like the original interface back in.
Yeah,
more or less, yeah. And everyone who didn't use 8.1 usually got like emulators to get the goddamn.
Well, the difference between 8 and 8.1, the start menu was actually the same. You get a full screen thing, but 8 didn't have the start menu button.
No, it didn't. It used
8.1
that.
did.
Yeah, I mean,
because they figured out, okay, we need to make it back because people went nuts because they couldn't find the start menu anymore.
Well, yeah, it's an essential goddamn thing when you're using a Windows PC. You immediately imagine that you're gonna have some fucking windows and some start menus and bars and whatever, and then all of a sudden, no, you get this mosaic. And they did keep the mosaic in 10, only now it's embedded inside of the start menu.
Yeah, and I actually like that.
That is fine.
I can organize my... I use it not as tiles, but as shortcuts.
Yeah.
And I love it. I can organize it exactly as I want to.
Yeah.
I can group them into what I use when, and from what tasks I use them for, or categories. That is gone in Windows 11 again.
Motherfucker. Okay.
Now I get a list with pinned icons, which is fine, except that I can change the order they show in, but I can't categorize them. I can't move them in groups anymore. And I get this freaking recommended with with last used files and such things. I don't need that. In Windows 10, I right-clicked on a tile or for a program, and I got the last used files for that program. That's efficiency. I don't need the recommended at all. It's bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, it's doubly bullshit for you since you actually have to work with this day in, day out, and try to actually sort out the problems other people are having with this as well.
Yeah.
I mean, these are basically the gripes of someone who knows what the fuck they're talking about. And yeah, this is oh god, it's so much worse. I'm now dreading.
Yeah.
I'm now dreading this the conversion, which will happen.
Like I said, hold on and keep ignoring Microsoft trying to tell you to upgrade to Windows 11. Just keep on Windows 10 for as long as you can.
Yeah, I haven't even had the opportunity to deny them yet, but it's good to be on the forefront of this.
Windows 8 was originally not made for desktop; it was made for touchscreen devices.
Yeah,
and Windows 11 has the same feel.
Exactly.
It's made for touchscreen devices.
Yeah, that is exactly what feeling I got after you described it to me. It's the exact same thing all over again.
Yeah.
And god damn it. I mean, the only place where I found Windows 8 to be appropriate was at like a digital cash register.
Yeah.
And that's literally the only place I used Windows 8, and it kind of made sense. And that is a very narrow goddamn market, man.
Yeah.
Jesus. Nope. I'm gonna hold on to my current version for as long as humanly possible. That is a complete lie. I could probably do it ad nauseum forever, but eventually I'm just gonna have to just accept that change is happening. But it's gonna be a while yet. Cause goddamn if I need that noise in my life as well. Speaking of noise. So yeah, I tried out a new game yesterday.
What?
Yeah.
Game?
Oh no, a computer game. Yeah. Got a game for my birthday that's coming up sometime in the future, and decided to sit down and test it. And this was a game called Planet Crafter. It is in early access, and it's basically, I mean, it does exactly what you would expect on the tin in a way. I mean, you go around on a planet and you craft things, and you're also crafting the planet while you do it.
Oh.
Yeah, you're terraforming.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so you're first person. It's a first-person game where you're just running around on some desolate, very Martian-looking planet in a way, and you are supposed to terraform this until it can sustain life.
Yeah.
Which is, I love the concept of it.
So more or less like the game we used to play last year with Terraforming Mars or something like that, similar to that, or
yeah, it's a little bit, but it's like you just what you do is like you crawl out of your pod, which has just crashed, and you find yourself in a very inhospitable landscape. You have to administer your food, your water, and your air.
Ah.
Yeah, you only have a limited amount of food, so good luck with that one. You're gonna have to figure out how to goddamn survive long enough to even get this planet viable. Also, there's some messages on the screen inside the little pod that you sat inside, and it's basically, yeah, you're a convict.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're a convict. You've been sent to this thing as a part of your penance, and yeah, good luck. So yeah, no, I was I just crawled out of my pod, did what you do, it's like you start figuring out how things work. You quickly realize that your oxygen tank has a very limited range, so it's like you keep close to home, and then you just gradually start upgrading your gear, and you make a habitat, and you figure out how to make some more tools that'll just very slowly improve the planet you're on. And just keep going at this for a little while, see where it takes you. And I mean, I went from a completely barren planet until it suddenly had blue skies.
Oh.
Yeah, it was. That's the first goal, the first stage of it, apparently. And after it had blue skies and did some more terraforming, and the machines did its work, eventually it also started having some clouds and stuff. Things were starting to look really good. And the next point after this is basically like, it'll start to rain. I get machines that can basically plant grass. So suddenly I have like grass just outside my little habitat on this horrible little planet. And then I get another message on the little display, and it's basically some friend of mine who is trying to give me some information, and it's like, yeah, give me some tips. And most of the tips are like, yeah, no, I already figured this out, but thanks for even mentioning it, right? But then it's like, yeah, and try to build an elevation that will make things easier for some reason. And I'm like, an elevation, you say? And I started thinking about it, and then I go into one of the little computers that I've made. It's amazing what this guy can do with a few resources. But and I look into it, and it's like, oh, well, okay, let's see here. What stuff can I build in the future? And I started looking at stuff, and it started mentioning that this can be used in lakes and stuff. And I'm like, lakes? Lake. Okay, there are no lakes now. The rain has just started. Where will there be a lake?
I see where this is going.
Yeah, so this is more or less where I left the game last night, just having a little think. So it's like, yeah, right. All signs are pointing to, well, we all know how water works. It'll fall down, and if the environment suits it, it'll probably settle somewhere. Now, where could it possibly be settling? It must be on the lowest point, right? Well, I sure as fuck can't see anywhere more flat and low than where I put my base, so I'm planning on continuing that game later on, and I think it's going to be a bit of a migratory episode. Dismantling everything I have done and move it to higher ground just in case this is gonna explode in my goddamn face.
Yeah.
Because Outlook is looking pouring. But no, it's pretty chill. It's a pretty chill experience. It's got some of the game elements that I really enjoy, which is basically it's open-ended. There are no true goals that you have to commit to. You can just keep going at what you're doing, and you will reach the goal if you just keep at it. And also, there's an emergent story that is, in large part, being created by the player itself. And I do love a good crafting / survival game. I mean, I've been playing a lot of Valheim and Minecraft and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have like a little space adventure. Does he just like space?
I used to play Command & Conquer and Red Alert.
Yeah.
I played Warcraft. I played a lot of those
RTS games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real-time strategy.
More or less, and also usually you build a base, you build forces, and then you go fuck shit up.
Yeah, that covers it.
I played so many of those that I grew tired of them and haven't barely played any since.
Yeah, those are different though. I mean, because those are like war and battle simulators.
More or but also they force you to build a base that is cohesive and produces the exact correct thing at the exact correct time.
Yeah. Again, yeah, that is a different experience because then you're also working against the clock. You're working against an AI.
Yeah, that is.
And
because if you're not quick enough, they will come and destroy your base.
Yeah, and you have to think about defenses and stuff like that. And in one sense, the game I've been playing and that game is different because it's same because you have one thing that you constantly have to keep a watchful eye for, and that is basically the resources you need to live. Food is scarce. You have to figure out how to make sure that you have enough food to continue, and how you can manage to get further so you can explore. And you have to have means to replenish your oxygen. And it's all right there. You just have to think about it a couple of times. Also, dying in this game, and I have tried that. Thank you very much. Not as traumatic as I would have originally anticipated.
Really?
Yes. It's probably one of the nicer ways to die in any game I've ever played. In the sense that when you die, you drop some of the stuff you have on you, like in your inventory, but not your gear or anything. And you respawn back at the last place where you had basically free oxygen. And if you run back, there will be a chest with all the stuff that you dropped. So you don't lose anything.
So, not unlike World of Warcraft then, where when you die, you run back to your body and pick up the stuff you left.
Yeah, well, in World of Warcraft, I guess you actually go and pick up your body.
well, there is that.
Yeah, but essentially it's like that. So even if you do fuck up, at worst, you'll have to be dealing with a lot of corpse runs, and so you can get your stuff back.
Yeah.
And I did almost get myself in a bind where I was sort of running between two posts, but I kept dying just before I reached the other base.
Oh.
And I would keep respawning at the base that I had left, but every time I did, I had less and less resources. Then I managed to sort of like test out how the actual game works in that respect. So I could sprint without losing a lot more oxygen, and actually save some time, which was good. But that's when I realized that, oh Jesus, there are actually crates where I died, so I could pick up all the stuff that I dropped as well. And I was more or less just convinced at that point that I'd lost it forever. So no, it's pretty good. In other games such as Valheim, which is like super Viking oriented, when you die there, you get like a significant drop in your stats. And
yeah,
you also,
there are some games to do that.
Yeah, and you also drop all your gear in like a very in a special little container that's lying where you died. So that's a lot more brutal. But I find that fun too. But that's mostly because I like building, which is something you can really do in games like Valheim and Minecraft and stuff. You cannot do it as much in the Planet Crafter. But that's fine. I'm just curious as how things are gonna look like once I get to a point where I can, start seeing trees and stuff. That'd be nice. Seeing an entire planet covered in things and know that, hey, I did this.
Yeah. Side note, by the way, music might be kinda loud.
Oh,
Just check.
yeah. Might be kind of loud. Gonna pop it back down a little bit.
I think that's fine.
There are some tracks in our music that are in our music, like we make the music. Yeah, we have no talent in that regard. Yeah, there are some tracks that are just louder.
No? Yeah. Try to balance it a bit, but
yeah, well, we don't have a sound guy, so
no, we don't.
It'll sound the way it does. Hopefully, it's not like a torture session.
Most of our streams, the music can barely be heard at all, and others they are so loud that it almost drowns out what we're saying. And in like one stream that you and Tori did,
there was nothing at all.
There was only music.
Yeah, and that is just us just forgetting to check whether or not our settings had been reset, which they tend to be. They tend to reset quite a lot, actually.
Strange that.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why either.
I mean, there's no reason for it.
Whenever I restart the computer, it seems like OBS suddenly doesn't understand that. Yeah, these sound devices are the same as last time.
Yeah, I know. Well, what happens on my side is basically like every single instance in OBS is being reset to this empty default thing.
Yeah.
There's nothing in there. So it's like, oh, that's a bit annoying. So now, but you know, as I always say, you gotta fuck up like 3 or 4, 5, maybe 6 times, and then you finally learn. So almost there. Just need some few more fuck ups, and I'll finally have figured out that maybe you should check your goddamn music channels before you start streaming. You dumb bastard.
This is what our, I don't know, 30 something stream.
It is what now? How many streams?
Not that many.
You did not. You did not say 30. You cannot have said 30 and meant it. That would be.
This is our 18th stream.
How many did you say? That's just not. That's not right. That's too much. That's too much, man.
If we take a look at YouTube, we have 17 streams on YouTube now. This is the 18th.
Well, heck. That's a bit much. Come on. I'm trying to be an introvert here. It's goddamn impossible with you guys around. Oh shit.
Tombs Foundry, forcing you to be social.
Oh dear lord. Well, okay. I'll just suck it up. And I'll say, God damn, this is ugly and pretty at the same time.
That is very true.
Hey, this is how it is. That is how it was.
Even though his teeth are brown, he actually has some pretty good teeth.
Oh, he has some lovely teeth. I would probably kill for these teeth. No, he has some very brown teeth. At least right now. I might go in and do some minor color corrections. I shouldn't spend too much time idling about. I got a deadline. Yes, deadline brain. Do your thing. trying to meld and sculpt this thing into some sort of semblance of actual anatomy.
All within an hour.
All within an hour. Or potentially beyond, I don't even know. But it's like... We usually have a strict cutoff at 9.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure why
If
we
you're not
do
entirely done...
that. Yeah, it's this is well within the realm of possibility to get done within that time.
Yeah.
It should be, at least, unless I go into some long diatribe about nothing and start showing graphs and whatever about I don't know, the prevalence of penises in Star Wars. I don't know, but you never know. I haven't had anything planned, so it would be very improvised if that happened. Let's see here.
So, are you gonna put this completed drawing on the Discord this time?
Yeah. We got a whole bunch of finished illustrations and stuff that hasn't taken a trip into our Discord, but definitely should.
Yeah.
So
everyone, if you want to see the finished works from the streams in more detail, go to our Discord.
I mean, we could also...
Discord.
Yeah, please do. We're pretty friendly people. I mean, we usually spend our time in Discord basically doing work. It's become our office, most of all.
So if you wanted to reach out to us outside the stream, just go to the Discord.
Yeah, and it's not like we're super serious people, so...
No.
But we should also... I mean, we will post some of these finished illustrations on other social media as well. Because they are nice, and I'm, for one, I'm proud of them. Some more than others. Weirdly enough, this is turning into an immediate favorite of mine. It's probably because I'm in this weird frame of mind where I can actually get things done the way I want them to get done. Usually that is a bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you know how to draw, sometimes your hand and your brain just don't want to work together.
Yeah, I know that.
But so far, knocking on wood, this thing has turned out pretty much exactly like I wanted it to.
It's really good.
Yeah, it says a lot about my mental state. Just before the stream started, I was looking over the picture, thinking about what I was gonna do, how I was gonna attack this, whatever. And then I had like a stray little invasive thought. I was like, I should grab a pen and I should write a text right next to it. It was like that feeling when your student loans are due.
Yeah.
I don't know.
In my case, it's more car and property allowance. Just God damn.
Oh yeah. Mortgage.
Yeah.
I hate that word.
All existence.
I hate that word on so many levels. Mostly because it's really hard to pronunciate when you see how it's written.
I don't even know. I'm not even sure I know how it's written.
Oh, it's Mortgage or Mortgage.
Ah, yeah.
There's so many sounds in there that I want to pronounce that I'm just not allowed to. Or there are sounds that I'm supposed to be pronouncing, but I'm not because I think I'm not allowed to. That's how confusing it is. Um, uh, it's one of my least favorite words in the English language. Um,
Not just because of what it implies, but also
oh,
because of.
the implication is definitely there, and it's a factor. Um, and
So, a new encounter card then.
paying your mortgage. Oh man, that's a challenge, not an encounter.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah, I also have another hated word, but not as much anymore because now I've learned how to spell it. Bureaucracy.
Okay. Oh yeah.
But yeah, you could also say that you can hate that because of what it implies. For some reason, bureaucracy became a lot easier to spell once I started studying French.
Well,
Who'd have thunk?
who'd have thought? Might have to do with kind of the origin of the word.
Kind of, yes. And for some reason, spelling things in French have become much more natural.
That's impressive.
These things just sneak in, you know? It's like, that's not the reason why you started doing this, but that is apparently one of the things that just happened.
Isn't French almost as bad as Danish in speaking entirely different from how you spell it?
I wouldn't say it's that bad. I've encountered some things that are a bit funky, but for the most part, kind of just figure it out in a way. But I wouldn't say that French is a language that's super easy to just write down phonetically. Because it really is not. I mean, there are some words like this Duo has these little listening tests where they will just tell you a word and you have to pick out which word this is, and like in a couple of instances, I swear to God, I have heard no difference between. Actually, when you click on the various words, the words will be spoken out to you, and you can compare it to the original sample. I swear, I have clicked on the sample. I've clicked on 3 different examples or suggestions that this might be it, and I've heard no goddamn difference. I had to basically learn how to listen.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like a month or 2 later, I encountered that word in the same way again. I was like, no, that. These are totally similar. Totally dissimilar. No, that means something else.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
German. When learning German, it wasn't really the same because I already can hear the difference in the words because German is surprisingly similar to Norwegian.
Yeah, we're North Germanic, and
Yeah.
German is West Germanic.
Even though
Same
Norwegian
language family
have
as English.
Norwegian or Old Norse rather has influenced English a lot, and English have influenced Norwegian a lot. A lot more similarities with German.
Yeah, the grammatical things are or differences are the ones I have problems with when it comes to German.
Yeah.
The teacher I had in German couldn't really. I mean, I couldn't quite explain what my issue was, so I never got a good explanation for what I was struggling with. But basically, like, the accusative and dative and all those other things, those were basically what killed the language for me, because I just couldn't get past it. I couldn't understand the context that they were supposed to be using.
The dative especially, we actually have a few dative clauses still left in our dialect. That understanding that, my teacher actually, I believe, my teacher actually reminded us of that. In our dialect, we actually have a few dative clauses still.
Yeah, see, something like that, an explanation like that would probably have helped me back in the day.
Yeah. It was an eye-opener, really. I learned not just German, but my own language as well in the same lesson.
Yeah. I mean, that would have been really cool. But instead, I was trying to just study this as hard as I could, and I was memorizing and trying to figure out, but I couldn't just figure out the connection. And so I was like, yeah, no, this is not for me. And so the result is that the only type of German I can speak today is funny German. Yeah, I can muster some sentences, but I will, without a doubt, end that sentence with ja. Not because I want to, but that's the habit, because I can't take the language seriously.
So basically, more or less is it Swedish descendant?
Yes. Pretty much the same thing, yeah. I mean, it's the American English stereotype of a Swede. That's what I've basically got for German. And it's nefarious. It's there. It's just, you can't get rid of it. When we went to Germany to Essen and Spiel, I mean, whenever we were ordering something or whatever, and we were all trying our German as best as we could, I struggled with that suppressed ja at every single turn. It was so tempting. Truly an intrusive thought. But I think I steered clear of it like 70% of the time. Sometimes I had to just say the little ja under my breath just to get it out.
I just gave up on the get-go and just defaulted to English. And if they couldn't speak English, I just, sign language then.
Yeah, pretty much. I always figured that back in school, because it was an elective to have German, and I figured that I should learn German. We're very close culturally and language-wise and stuff, but it's like, that enthusiasm lasted about half a year.
For me, it was more that if I took it as an elective in middle school, I could get away with only 1 year in high school.
Yeah, something like that. I think it was the same for my age group as well. Yeah. More or less, at least.
So I wasn't really motivated from the get-go. I got a bit more motivated, but unfortunately, I never got a hang of it quite. And I didn't really have any sources of German except for Derek.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Having media to sort of like ease you into something, I just imagine that is always a really good way to get things going.
I always pity all those countries that dub everything, because
like we used to
they lose a lot of the input from other languages. They keep their own languages pretty much, but they lose much of the opportunity to actually learn how to pronounce foreign languages.
Oh man, but that's exactly how it was here.
They hardly dubbed anything. We had children's programs that weren't dubbed at all. They were just.
Are you
texted.
fucking kidding me, man? I mean, we didn't dub in many movies, but children's movies were universally dubbed.
Usually, but sometimes not.
Very rarely, though. But
very rarely, yes, but it did happen.
And then, of course, we had the whole movie titles being dubbed. Translated.
Yeah, those were hilarious.
Oh my god! Like the one I can always remember is Die Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Operation Skyscraper. I was like, really? is that what you go for? I mean, somewhere out there, maybe that person is still alive, maybe not. But somewhere out there in this great country of Norway, there's someone who decided that movie was going to be translated into that. What a legacy.
Yeah.
Oh man. What the heck? Okay, let's see. Okay, let's. Man, yeah, this is going pretty great, going pretty fast. Okay. Yep. So, been blending for about almost an hour now.
Yeah.
Which is like half the time some women would use, I guess.
Oh, you went there.
I did. I'm traumatized. Once upon a time, I had to learn everything about makeup.
Oh?
At least in theory. Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
It was a particular interest to my girlfriend at the time.
Ah.
So you kind of like, you invest.
Yeah.
And ever so often you end up being a makeup doll. And man, I can say for sure I would not look like a good woman. This face of mine, nah, that would be unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it kind of reminds me, Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah?
Yeah, that movie he made in the 80s, Tootsie, where he basically he's playing an actor who is trying to get a job, but he can't get a job. And so he creates an alternate persona for himself that's a woman, and starts dressing up as a woman and gets himself a career as this woman.
Okay.
And when they did him up, I mean, some great goddamn costume work went into just making him into a woman. And he said that the second he saw himself all dressed up as a woman, he began crying because he didn't think he looked beautiful.
Oh.
And he just sort of in that moment realized the limitations that's been put on women contrary to men. In their industry and in society in general, because it's like, yeah, he had never thought of himself as ugly before. But the second that he looked at himself as a woman, then all of a sudden this was an issue, and I was like, oh Jesus Christ, why do I have to deal with this right now? So yeah, he just came out of it slightly transformed, according to an interview that he had.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, because he kind of looked at himself through his own eyes in a way, and he just immediately realized that he would have judged a woman who looked like himself as a woman based on her appearance, and that was not cool. This was like late 80s, so
wow,
that's pretty progressive to say the least. But yeah.
It's thought-provoking, really.
Yeah, and it's like I know it from my own perspective as well. It's like I would be much more judgmental towards how I look if I look like a woman, and that's not fair.
No.
So that's just one way of checking your privilege.
As you can probably tell by my avatar, I'm kind of conscious of how I look, but
there's a difference.
I don't envy women at all in that, because they're always judged.
Yeah, you're a stylish dude. You are. I mean, you don't look like someone who's given up.
Not quite yet.
No, you haven't given up. You haven't given up. You're making a conscious decision. You're actually presenting yourself in a way that makes you feel comfortable.
Trying, at least.
Yeah, trying. I mean, that's all we can do in the end, isn't it?
It is.
And everyone accepts us for it, for the most part.
Yeah.
And people who don't accept us for how we look, well, those are just mainly just toxic. But yeah, no, it's body dysphoria. That ain't a fun thing to deal with. Okay.
What?
Just me basically saying to myself that this is okay. Now I'm gonna...
That's fine.
Try to find any gaps and get them closed. Okay, cool. Now, I did say something about me wanting to try out other colors. So, let's see how that works out, shall we? Let's see. Would that be good now? Probably something darker. That's very unnatural color. That's not good. How about that? Nope. We'll try this one and see what happens.
Trying to get into it's kind of a groove with the Blender course.
Oh, nice. You've been blending? I've been blending. We've all been blending. Yeah.
Still have a ways to go though, but it's more or less my first time going through sculpting a head. Well, I've tried sculpting heads before, not really with guidance like this. Not in Blender. I've done it in other software like 3D Studio Max, but not in Blender. It's very different, especially with sculpting.
Different how? I mean, are you discovering anything?
Well, in 3D Studio Max, I more or less built it from the ground up by defining each and every vertex and each and every polygon. In Blender now, with the tablet I use and sculpting, I'm much more freeform. It's much more, like they say in the course as well, it's much more like working with clay. So that it doesn't always do exactly what I want, and I need to learn how to use the tools to get what I want. And that takes a bit getting used to.
Yeah. Now that is a course I would like to try myself.
Yeah. And it is recommended, but yeah, I really want to try and learn this. I've wanted for a long time to sculpt in Blender to make, for example, miniatures for our tabletop games.
Yeah, for instance.
But also they make a good.
You're talking about proper miniatures, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But also to make 3D models to use as reference for drawing. It's much easier when I have something that is close to what I want to draw to look at.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
Yeah. So, I have my imagination usually works by I can imagine quite a lot, but in order to actually draw what I imagine, I need a reference, a physical reference, much more. I have problems like getting my I have problems looking at the well, how to explain this? I'm actually not sure how I can explain this, because it's much more of a feeling than it is physical. I'm logical. Logical. I know I'm creative because from when I was a child, I've always created things. But there's always been logic behind it somehow. I'm not like an artist that can just let loose and create something. I need to have method in it, and I need to have. It's difficult to make what I want. I tend to go through very much into realism and try to make it as close to real as possible. And that's a hindrance, and I need to get rid of that habit somehow.
Yeah, I could see how you would see that as a hindrance. Sort of like wanting to play jazz music, but you can't find it in yourself to improvise.
Yeah.
Um,
It's actually pretty similar.
You're welcome. Yeah, that's not easy at all. It is different for everyone, and for me, what helps me is knowing how to construct the framework that's underneath.
Yes.
We all kind of start with the same basis, same starting point, in much the same way. And I know that if I am unsure of how to create a framework for something, that I will resort to accurate drawings, schematics, whatever, to help me get informed when I cannot make those myself or I cannot do it on the fly. And I know this is particularly true when I'm dealing with things that are supposed to have a certain volumetric dimension to it. Like, for instance, a car. It's supposed to be looking like this. It's supposed to have this kind of mass. It's supposed to have this kind of twist and turn to it.
Mm-hmm.
In those cases, I can get really uncertain about what I'm doing, and then I would prefer having a reference.
Yeah.
When it comes to the human body, for instance, then I can allow myself not to know everything. Then I know basic human anatomy, know how to approximate human physiology and skeletal structures. And when I was about 14, I relearned how to draw using such parameters, like where I would actively start building every character that I drew from the very beginning, like from the very basics. I would first construct a skeleton, then I would construct all the muscle groups on top of the skeleton, and then I would draw clothes on it, and then etc. So I would build characters on paper from the very minute little details. And it took me a while until I unlearned how to do that and could just do it in a simplified fashion. But to this very day, I still I still create things, houses, people, animals with the same tool set. So there's always a skeleton, there's always some muscle structure. Only it's highly simplified because it's mostly in my head now and not exactly something that I need to analyze anymore because I've repeated the process so many times. But it's always there. So, I too can relate to what you're saying about needing this logical standpoint to be able to do what you want to do.
It's somehow both comforting and daunting, somehow.
Well, it's very human, but we're all different kind of people in the end, so maybe it's easier for me to let go of the constraints in a way. Or maybe it's just I'm looking at the constraints in a different way. I mean, they're tools, and I'm not judging the tools that I have. I've learned to love them because they're basically what helps me do whatever I can do today. I just keep refining these tools, and a part of this is basically having an established database of 3D models inside my brain at all times.
Oh. Yeah.
I mean, that's part of a mindfulness exercise, basically. If you look at something, and I know you do, look at something and you consider its structure. How is this working? You look at an animal and you know that the parts of the animal is essentially the same as the parts of a human being. You can construct anything around you just knowing that you have a few things around you that you can work with.
Yes.
And sometimes you will fail.
Not just sometimes, you will probably fail again and again and again and again.
Yep, you will.
But then you will get it right.
Yeah, and then maybe you'll get it right in a very surprising way, which is always the fun part.
Yeah.
Like that thing that you did not think would work actually works.
Yeah.
Those are the best.
That makes it worth all the failures worth it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We're getting pretty philosophical right now.
Yeah. And that's fine.
That's not a bad thing.
No. That's a very good thing, actually.
Now, a challenge to you.
Oh, fuck. Yeah? What?
Can you complete them in 15 minutes?
Yeah. No problem.
Good to know. Then we just need to figure out what we're going to be talking about for the last 15 minutes.
Oh, there's no issue here whatsoever. This is going to go swimmingly. This is so great. Yeah, because the issue here is, of course, that we have known each other for so many years and we have nothing to say to each other anymore.
Yeah. It's got into the territory that we don't need to say anything.
Nah, but seriously, I mean, guys, come on. I mean, you and Tor, you keep going on about how tired you are. I was like, motherfucker, I was like, you just have to talk. You just have to have a conversation. It doesn't matter if you're like actually talking to an audience that you can't see. I mean, it's just us. just sat here shooting the shit. It doesn't really matter if there's a clock saying that we're gonna be on or off, because we do this all the time, anyways.
Yeah.
So it's fine. It's mostly fine. It's semi-fine. It sucks. I'm just gonna put on some highlights now and this horrible goddamn nightmare, but it's not. It's probably nightmare related, but it's not. No. Called a Bytting will be done, and he can creep into someone else's nightmares for a while and leave me the heck alone. Jesus. No, it's been a pleasure working on this thing. Even though it's an absolute goddamn horror. That's probably why I liked it, to be honest.
Yeah, you know
And then there's always the question, what am I gonna do next time we have an art stream? Because it's not like I have a very short list. Nope.
You have a large list.
It's long. And sometimes I make it longer by accident. Because that's just how we roll.
It is.
Well, I'm not saying I'm much of a Michelangelo or Leonardo da Vinci or even a turtle, but I'm pretty goddamn happy with this.
Yeah, you should be.
What was that exclamation you had there? It's like, what happened?
Well, compared to me, you pretty much are Michelangelo.
Yeah. Actually, I am not certain how comfortable I am with that distinction. Because I think you're a better modeler. Michelangelo could paint. He could. But he could also make some goddamn sculptures. Well, he could at times. I mean, there's one specific sculpture that he made that I am not entirely happy with, but you know, that's me. Apparently, history loves it, so I guess I'm wrong. I guess I'm wrong. So yeah. There's a certain statue. I don't even remember the name of it because I'm a horrible art student. But essentially, the woman on that statue has the worst pair of boobs I've ever seen in my life. And I get it. Probably didn't have a cornucopia of boobs. I mean, he probably didn't have TikTok and Instagram.
Probably not.
And he was probably also gay. so he wouldn't
I don't.
necessarily look for those things. So, I can understand it, but it's the problem I have with that specific statue or sculpture is that it just looks like the boobs were added as an afterthought, which is really difficult to do when you're working in marble.
Yeah.
Because it just looks like it's like, oh, this is supposed to be a woman. Well, oh crap. Grab 2 large balls of clay and slap them on, and that's it. And I was like, oh, Jesus. It might just be me. It might just be me, but I think it's not one of his best things that he ever did. But I'm not discounting the fact that he did David. Or the Sistine Chapel.
Yeah.
And all the other enormously marvelous things that he ever did. I'm just saying that one statue is a bit shit.
Oh. What is this such a cult?
I don't remember, and I'm not allowed to Google.
Yeah.
But knowing the internet, you can probably just Google for Michelangelo bad boob statue, and you will find it.
Probably.
And in fact, if you don't find it, searching for those exact parameters, that just proves that I'm wrong. Because if the internet just disagrees with me at such a degree that there isn't even a search criteria for it, yeah, no, I have nothing. Then I have nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty bad. I just remember coming across it in a art book back in school. I was like,
what were you doing? Were you drunk? High? What?
more or less. But I was like, I just couldn't get it. It's like, because everything else he makes is just so amazing, and I was like, and the sculpture, the statue. I mean, it's a huge goddamn thing. I was like, it's beautifully made in every single goddamn way, and I couldn't possibly think of half the things that they've done there. And then, oops.
Interesting.
Yeah. No, I guess I mean, but it is also been said that he was probably homosexual, and the time was very restrictive.
Yeah.
Not as in he had restricted time. No, the time was restricted morally and stuff like that. But most of the women figures in his works, like for instance, in the Sistine Chapel, they are very masculine. They have what you would basically say would be very masculine physiques.
Into the Sistine Chapel, but I actually didn't look at that way.
No, I mean, I didn't think of it until it was pointed out to me by a teacher. I was like, well, now you mention it, yeah, I can totally see the broad shoulders. No.
Yeah, that's probably might be why he did it that way.
Yeah, I was like, she has the cutest little Adam's apple.
Right.
Yeah, no, but it's it kind of showed a little bit. But then again, there are other scholars who would say that women were in large parts very hard laborers and did much of the same work and labor as men did, and thus had much more manly physiques.
Yeah.
Probably true.
Probably true.
But if that's true, then mommy. Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this particular horror show, I think it's done.
Yeah. Looks beautiful though.
I guess I could do more on the hair. I could do more on the hair.
Define it a bit more. It looks a bit. Yeah, it looks a bit like it's just slapped on the back.
Yeah. So I'll do a little bit more on the hair. I mean, I got a little bit more time left. So let's just do a little bit more on the hair. Yeah, that's fine. That's cool. It's cool. It's good. It's good. It's good. So let's see here. Let's do.
Well, you certainly can be satisfied with my work as well.
Hey, that's good news.
I don't think I have any more way of showing it off right now, though.
No, unfortunately not. Maybe in the future when we manage to fully integrate everything into one comprehensive system.
Yeah. But what I can do is take a screenshot and post it to you. Just saw that Tor left us a message before we started the stream. He's sick today.
Oh, so I guess he wasn't out branching from pitch. I said pitchfork. Well, I mean torches. I mean he's not out there hunting down Frankenstein. Maybe.
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 Depends on what you define as the monster then.
Frankenstein. Frankenstein's the monster.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, Frankenstein's the monster.
No.
Frankenstein.
Not.
Frankenstein
is the doctor that made the monster.
Frankenstein is the monster. The monster's just a monster. The monster's just a poor guy put together lots of people.
That's true. That is true. That is true. You're absolutely right.
There's a common misconception. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, you're actually true. You're absolutely true. You're absolutely right.
Frankenstein's monster is not Frankenstein, but Frankenstein's monster was the original monster.
Nope. That was Frankenstein himself.
Yeah, what a bastard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a look, see, at the thing. Let's see. Okay. Oh, right. Now, I'm about to guess the species of the thing that you've been making.
Yeah, I took myself a bit of liberty from the source material. Most of this I made myself. I had to restart with the basic head shape and use the courses head shape because I don't know what I did, but I somehow got it messed up, and I couldn't. No matter how much I did undo, I couldn't put it back. It's not quite in the center.
Does that bother you?
Nope.
I know it does. Yeah, no,
Yes, it is.
Yes.
But yeah, it's good enough. I took myself a bit of artistic liberty from the source material.
And you goddamn have to.
I just thought, okay, I'm already doing this. Why not try to do a bit of?
So I'm just gonna guess what species this is.
Guess away.
Well, I mean, if I said elf, that would be too obvious. But I'm gonna go with surprise and intrigue halfling.
Oh. Me, I'm not exactly sure, actually. I think it's more of one of the taller races. Not quite an elf, no.
Half elf. Maybe even a very lucky half orc.
Lucky or lucky?
Well, you know, he does have quite handsome facial features in comparison to what most half orcs would have had.
Depends on the half orc. Depends on the orc.
I suppose. See, I'm looking at this face and I'm thinking, I don't know how to do this.
It was actually, I did manage to get a basic head shape on my own from a sphere, and then I messed up the resolution. I don't know what I did, but I suddenly had 1 billion polygons instead of the few 100,000 I was supposed to. And I couldn't reverse it. I didn't know how. I didn't know what I did. I must have hit some keyboard combinations, and I don't know what happened, so I had to start from scratch. And nope, I just took the course's basic model and continued from there.
Yeah, I kind of remember being in a similar situation once when I was learning how to do Illustrator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something happened, and it was just so detrimentally bad to the progress of the rest of the project. I just had to scrap the entire file.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I would be able to fix it, but no, back then it was a goddamn mystery.
Yeah. Which is why when I started out with the 3D graphics and modeling, I tended to, and I still do in some cases, I tended to create new instances of the file, not just saving over the old file, but creating an entirely new file numbered to be able to go back to an earlier file if I messed up.
Yeah, this is pretty much the same reason why I keep a whole bunch of layers.
Yeah.
Because then I always have something I can go back to if I screw up once.
But then you have trying to not draw on the wrong layer or an earlier layer.
Oh, drawing on the wrong layer, earlier layer, I mean, making up 50 new layers, trying out different things. I mean, it's all part of a process. You have to trust the process.
Yeah. And then you just, if you screw up, just try it again.
Yep. And you will.
Yeah.
A lot. And quite often in the most spectacular fashion.
Yep. Anyways.
Yeah.
We're a bit above.
Yep. Well, we just have to show you what... well, we're always beyond. But, yeah.
Yeah.
We just had to show off whatever John had been working on. He's been working very diligently trying to learn. And I seem to have finished this monstrosity.
I think it's actually the first head that I've sculpted in Blender fully.
As far as I know, it might be. I've seen you sculpt other things. Just not in Blender. Not like that. Not like that. So yeah, we're just gonna leave you with this this horrible shriek of I don't even know. And we'll be back soonish.
Next Thursday, according to plan.
Yeah, that is way too soon, but whatever. Yeah, so cool. you can follow us.
We will follow us on Facebook and Instagram to get to know what we will be doing next week.
Yeah, join us on Discord. Check in
completed works.
Yeah, and drop in on Tombs Foundry where all these VODs that we're making will be just placed there for all future.
YouTube, on YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube. Yep. And of course, you're right now here on Twitch. We will be back with another live show in about a week.
Yeah. Subscribe, like our posts on social. Subscribe on YouTube and like us here.
Yeah.
Follow us here on Twitch.
Yeah, probably like copy some links and whatever. I don't know. I don't know how algorithms work.
I have no clue.
Nah. That's just modern magic. That's what that is.
More or less.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, it's strange rituals.
I mean, in the case of Google and a couple of these megacorps, black magic.
Very black magic. Yeah, well, this was fun. And next time, what are we going to do next time? We don't know yet. I guess it'll be just another random encounter.
Yeah.
Yes, I said the line. Yes.
True.
Okay.
So, bye-bye to everyone, and see you next time.
Yes, bye-bye.